Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It is that time again. Week 2 of the college football season is here. We're going to give our picks and predictions for all of our top 25 matchups. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, do you agree, disagree? What are your picks? What are your predictions and best bets for our Week 2 college football matchups? Leave it in the comment section. I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out the pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. We are going over every single college football game, every single NFL game, this entire football season. We're breaking them all down. Prediction, best bets, money lines, spreads, over-unders. If you're a sports fan, if you're a football fan, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We had a great week 1. We had 3 top 10 versus top 10 matchups. We had 4 top 10 teams go off. It set the bar so high for the 2025 season, but we'll take any football. We are so happy college football is back. So happy NFL football is back. We might not have as many top 25 versus top 25 matches this week, but we have a lot of extremely good out-of-conference games. I was up so late Sunday night watching the Miami versus Notre Dame game. That was so fun, and I loved it because, honestly, guys, we picked the exact score, picked the exact ending. Carson Beck going down the field, scoring the touchdown to win it. Last week game, that hit perfectly. That was the winning score. That's the standard that we set here on this channel. Let's get into these weekly matchups. Kicking everything off September 6th, this coming Saturday at 12 p.m., the undefeated, the 1-0 Iowa Hawkeyes versus the number 16 Iowa State Cyclones. You know Iowa State, they had a great week 0. They beat Kansas State. They came out last week a dominating win. They covered that spread by a lot. They are rolling right now. Rocco Beck, 3rd year as the starter here, passing the ball. They're running the ball. This is a Matt Campbell team. You know they're going to be disciplined. You know they're going to run the ball. They're going to play good sound defense. They're going to have a good front 7, but you're going up against Iowa. Kirk Ferentz here, one of the longest tenured coaches in the country. Iowa knows how to play smash mouth, old school style football. Their offense, it is atrocious. It is very hard to watch. It is painful on the eyes. If there's anything on, usually you'd rather watch that than an Iowa Hawkeyes offense. Sorry, guys, it just is what it is. But they always have a top 10 defense. They always play really good special teams. They always keep the score low, and they know how to drain the clock when play time of possession. Right now, Iowa State, 65.4% chance to win. The Iowa Hawkeyes, a 34.6% chance to win. Cyclones, 3-point favorites, a 41.5 over-under. Very interesting game. Iowa coming into this game, just one game so far, 34 points per game, only giving up 7, which is pretty normal for an Iowa team. They play elite caliber defense. Gronowski only had 44 yards passing. Wasn't throwing that much, but you know what Iowa wants to do? They have Williams. They're just going to line up. They're going to run it down your throat. They're going to keep the ball out of your offense's hands. Iowa State, in 2 games, dominating so far, 39.5 points a game, giving up 14 points per game. That's what Matt Campbell does. To me, this game is going to be very close, mainly due to the defense from Iowa. I could see them winning this game on the road, would not be surprised, but I'm going to go with Iowa State eking out a very close win. They win it 20-17. And our very next game at 12 p.m., the 1-0 FIU Panthers versus the 1-0, the number 2 Penn State Nittany Lions. The Nittany Lions, one of the overall most experienced rosters in all of college football. The offense, the defense. Franklin's here. Knowles on the defensive side might be the best defense coordinator in all of college football. You know what Franklin loves to do? He loves to cover him some spreads. They were unable to cover the spread last week in their opening game. Franklin's going to be out for revenge. They're going to take it out on FIU. They're going to look to pound them, beat them into submission. FIU right now, a 1.9% chance to win this game. Penn State, a 98.1. The Nittany Lions, 41.5 point favorites. The Oilers, 54.5. Right now, Penn State, one of the best defenses in the country. They have a lot of veterans back on the offensive side. Drew Aller, Pena transferred over. The best 1-2 running back combo in the nation. Singleton, Allen. They weren't able to get the ground game going last week. They're going to look to concentrate on that, line up in the eye, run it down your throat, dominate you. They're going to wear this team out by the second half. It's going to be a complete blowout. FIU 42 points a game, giving up 9, but obviously this is a massive step up in their competition. Penn State 46 point a game, only giving up 11. They finished last season with the number 4 overall defense in the nation. They lost some pieces, but this team, they were able to replace them. They're going to be elite again. Lots of experience on this team. Make sure to be rolling once you get into Big Ten play. I have Penn State winning this one 52-7. They pour it on FIU. In our third game, we have another team that's out for revenge, but it's due to a loss this time. At 12 p.m., 0-1 San Jose State versus number 7, the Texas Longhorns. 0-1 coming off that loss in Columbus Ohio, versus the new number one team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Steve Sarkisian, they want to respond this game. Arch Manning, massive expectations coming into the season. He definitely did not live up to them this past Saturday. They want to right some wrongs. It showed some things that they need to work on. We know they're going to have a top 10 defense. We know they have a stout front seven, great secondary, a lot of new weapons in the wide receiver room, deep running back core. But we know that all eyes are going to be on Arch Manning, looking for him to rebound here, get the mechanics right. A lot of questions about Steve Sarkisian's play calling this past Saturday. He's going to look to right those things. The defense is going to dominate. The offense is going to dominate. They're going to be out for blood. Texas, 98.8% chance to win. San Jose State, a 1.2% chance to win. Texas, 36.5-point favorites, a 52.5 over-under. I have the Longhorns. This game is not going to be close at any point. They only got 7 points last week. They're going to make up for it this week. They win this one 48-13. San Jose State gets some garbage time points. Now, this is the type of out-of-conference game that I'm talking about. 12 p.m. on ESPN. If you are able to, make sure to watch this game. This game has potential upset written all over it. The 1-0, the Fighting Illini coming in here, number 11 in the country. A lot of people saying that this is the 2025 version of Indiana last year. They're going to be playing the 1-0 Duke Blue Devils. Don't forget Duke. Last season, they went 9-3 during the regular season. Probably should have finished the regular season ranked. They had an elite top 30 defense. We know that their coach, Manny Diaz, he's always going to have a good defense, but it's who we brought in at the quarterback position. Darian Mensah coming over, threw for just under 400 yards yesterday. He was lighting it up last year. Mobile, dual threat quarterback. He can push the ball down the field. He can scramble. He can extend plays with his legs. The Fighting Illini, you know this team is built in the trenches. They're going to get after you. They want to contain the quarterback, keep him in the pocket, control the edges, force him into third and long situations. Duke at home here versus a top 12 team, a 50.6% chance to win. Illinois, a 49.4%. So practically a 50-50 split with the fans. Illinois, 3-point favorites, 49.5 over under. The Fighting Illini, they're averaging 52 points a game, giving up 3 points a game, but it's obviously only been one game. Duke, 45, giving up 17, but of course that has also only been 1 week. We won't have a full idea of these teams till we get a little later in the season. Mensah for Duke. You have Luke Altmaier right now for the Fighting Illini, 3-year starter, a lot of experience under his belt. This is one of those games to me, just cover your eyes, flip a coin. That's going to be the outcome. This is a very, very difficult game to call. I would avoid this one personally. I'm not going to be betting on this one, but I'm going to call it. You heard it here first. Give me Duke pulling off the upset. They win a very close game. A field goal might make the difference. They win it 26-23. On the ACC network at 12 p.m., this is going to be one of our blowout matchups. This is FBS versus FCS. It's going to be a cupcake game. The 0-1 East Texas A&M versus the newly crowned number 14 Florida State Seminoles, going from unranked from 2 wins last year. They jumped them all the way up to number 14 in the AP poll. They're 1-0, coming off of a complete thrashing, a complete curb stomping of the Alabama Crimson Tide. With this being an FCS game, we're not going to have a spread till that morning, so we don't have those numbers, but Florida State, 98.6% chance to win this one. East Texas, a 1.4% chance. East Texas, they gave up 42 last week. Florida State, they're averaging 31, giving up 17. How about Thomas Castellanos running the ball all over Alabama, extending plays with his legs? They were the far more physical team on the offensive line, the defensive line. They were putting hats on the ball, uniforms, going to the ball. The defense was aggressive. They were fast sideline to sideline. Gus Malzahn, what a pickup from Mike Norvell, taking a lot of pressure off of him. The guy knows how to call plays. One of the better offensive minds of the last 2 decades. Florida State wins this game. They win this game easily. Let's put it at a 55-13. And then we have a battle for the heart of Texas at 12 p.m. 0-1 Baylor Bears coming off of a very close matchup versus Auburn. Auburn pulled away at the end, but Baylor was in it down to the end. Baylor, with that offense they run, they can score some points. They got to develop a better run game, though. They'll be on the road here versus number 17 SMU. They made the playoffs last season, 1-0. Not the best win this past weekend, but SMU breaking in a lot of new starters, but they have Jennings back at the quarterback position. Dual threat quarterback, throwing the ball, running the ball. Baylor gave up 300 yards rushing last week. That's going to work wonders for SMU because they have a true dual threat, dual purpose quarterback. They have a pretty good defense. A lot of very highly rated transfer portal players. Right now, SMU 66.9% chance to win this game. Baylor a 33.1%, but I like to call like it is. To me, this game is a lot closer to a 50-50 matchup than the fan vote is giving it. SMU, 2.5-point favorites. That's what I'm talking about. 65.5 over under. Vegas sees a lot of points being scored. So do I. Right now, Baylor 24 points a game, giving up 38, but they're throwing for 419, running for 64. You got to get a little more balance there, suck up some clock. SMU 42 points a game, giving up 13, 260 through the air, 140 on the ground. This is a Rhett Lashley team. This team is very good. They did make the playoffs last season. Do not underestimate Baylor here. This is one of those games. It has potential upset written all over it. I did kind of waffle back and forth. It's a very difficult one to call. I love Baylor, but SMU being at home, I'm going to give them a slight edge. I have SMU winning this game 34-28. And the next game we're looking at 12 p.m., 0-1 Kennesaw State coming off of a 10-9 loss versus Wake Forest. What a very low-scoring, boring game. They're going to be facing off versus number 23, Indiana, 1-0, undefeated, coming off of a playoff run last season. This is Curt Cignetti. Love him or hate him. Like the guy always says, all he does is win. He always fields a very good team. A lot of transfer portal players here. Mendoza, second game with the Hoosiers. He's going to be even better. Very highly touted guy coming out of the transfer portal. Hoosiers, 94.6% chance to win. Kennesaw State, a 5.4% chance to win. Indiana's 35.5-point favorites, 52.5 over under. Obviously, Kennesaw State only one game, 9 points a game, giving up 10. Those numbers are going to get blown out of proportion here. Indiana, 27 points a game. I need to see more from that offense. They ran for 309, threw for 193, over 500 yards of offense. I want to see a little more balance here, get the play action going, and they're giving up 14 points a game. I do trust Cignetti here. Look for their offense to open it up a little bit more, push the ball down the field. Indiana wins this one 34-7. Another one at 12 p.m., 1-0, Penn State with a 1.8% chance to win. They'll be visiting Lubbock, Texas, a 98.2% chance. Texas Tech here, number 24. Don't forget Texas Tech bringing in the number 1 transfer portal class, not in the Big 12, in the entire country. This game's going to be on TNT. It's going to be a fun one to watch here. Texas Tech, Morton back at quarterback. This offense, an extremely good offense. They scored 67 points last game, gave up 7. Kent State, 21 points a game, giving up 17. But Texas Tech, massive favorite here. This is a huge spread versus another FBS team, a 48.5 spread, and the over-under is going to be 58.5. I trust Texas Tech. Joey McGuire, extremely aggressive coach. They're not known for their defense. They might give up some points here, especially garbage time, but with the talent, with what they brought in through the portal, a deep wide receiver room, great running back room, and with Morton at the quarterback position, you can't go wrong. It is a team who could honestly compete for the Big 12, might even win the Big 12 and get into the playoffs this season. I have Texas Tech and the Air Raid cruising here. They win this one 62-17. 12:45 p.m., 1-0 Utah State. Bronco Mendenhall with Utah State here. This is a team, they're coming in here undefeated 1-0, but they're going to one of the most difficult places to play, College Station, the Texas A&M Aggies. This is Mike Elko's team. They've taken on his persona. They play elite line of scrimmage football, defensive line, offensive line. They run the ball, and their discipline got off to a very slow start this past week, but in the end, they were able to pile on the points third and fourth quarter. The Aggies right now, number 19, 96.2% chance to win this one. Utah State, a 3.8% chance to win. The Aggies, 29.5-point favorites, a large spread versus an FBS foe. The over-under is going to be 53.5. Utah State, 28 points a game, giving up 16. The Aggies, 42 points a game, giving up 24. They have the secret weapon, Marcel Reed. He can do a little bit of everything. They're going to line up. They're going to run it down your throat, own the time of possession. They're going to out-physical you. Utah State will be wore out third, fourth quarter. They're averaging 42, giving up 24. Not the best showing last week. Look for them to get things on track here, especially the defense. They win this one 42-18. This next game is what it is. It's going to be a curb stomping at 3:30 p.m. 1-0 Grambling State versus 1-0 newly number 1, the Ohio State Buckeyes, also the defending national champions, coming off of beating the previous number 1 team, the Texas Longhorns. This team is good right now. Sayin wasn't asked to do too much this past weekend, didn't make any mistakes, did just enough to win. The offensive line got a lot of push. This is going to be an elite defense led by Matt Patricia. You also have Heartline calling plays. You have Ryan Day at the head. Ryan Day, what he's done the last 2 years, you got to give this guy a lot of credit. Complete turnover with the coaching staff. They have not missed a beat so far. They have what is probably the best wide receiver room in the entire country. Tate, Ennis, And of course, you have Jeremiah Smith, the best offensive player in the country. Buckeyes, a 99% chance to win. What else is there to say? There's no spread yet. This is an FCS opponent. It will come out that day. Buckeyes win this one 58-6. And honestly, this is really just a scrimmage game at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 1-0 Austin Peay, the undefeated Austin Peay FCS versus number 4, the Georgia Bulldogs at 1-0. A massive, massive talent disparity. Bulldogs, 99% chance to win. Austin Peay, a 1% chance, but you're telling me they do have a slight chance here. They're averaging 34 a game, giving up 14. The Bulldogs, 45 a game, giving up 7. Obviously, Georgia, coming off of a beatdown of Marshall last week, they have yet to be tested here. 2 back-to-back cupcake games, but that's honestly what you want for Gunnar Stockton. Get him as many reps as possible. A lot of new players, a completely rebuilt wide receiver core. Get Branch and company as many reps in this scheme, in this system, versus non-Bulldogs opponents. Get the offense oiled up. So once you get into SEC play, which will be very difficult, they do have a very difficult schedule this season. You want all of your cylinders firing. Let the defense pin its ears back. Get a bunch of sacks here. They're going to beat the crap out of this team at the line of scrimmage. They'll be bruised and battered, probably by the second or third quarter. I have the Bulldogs winning this one 55-9. And this next matchup is going to be a Big 10 versus Big 12 game at 3:30 p.m. 1-0 undefeated Oklahoma State Cowboys. Mike Gundy, also one of the longest tenured coaches in the country. They lost their quarterback last week, though. You don't want to have your backup quarterback going to Autzen Stadium, to Oregon, to play the Oregon Ducks at home. The number 6 1-0 Oregon Ducks. This team is extremely hard to beat, and even harder to beat in the state of Oregon. They have a 93.3% chance to win. The Cowboys, a 6.7% chance. The Ducks are a 28.5-point favorite. The over-under here is 57.5. Oklahoma State, 27 points a game, giving up 7. They had Ollie Gordon last season. They failed to get some push, run the ball. You want to be able to run the ball, keep the ball out of the Oregon Ducks' hands. Dante Moore, his first game as a starter, he was wheeling and dealing, slinging the ball down the field. This is a top 10, top 5 overall roster. They are talented. Started out last season really slow. That is not the case so far this year. They are rolling right now. 59 points a game, giving up 13. Throwing for 253, running for 253. That is as balanced as it could possibly be. That is 50-50 right down the middle. Gotta love what Dan Lanning is doing, what he's building with this team. Very strong foundation built at the line of scrimmage. They can compete in the SEC. They can compete in the Big Ten. Give me the Oregon Ducks winning this one 45-16. 3:30 p.m., 1-0 Troy versus number 8, the Clemson Tigers. 0-1 Clemson back at home, Death Valley. They want to rebound from that game versus LSU. The game was there for the taking. Open up the season. Brian Kelly hadn't won a game one his entire time at LSU, and Clemson, they could not in any way consistently move the ball. The defense at one point, they just get tired. They need the offense to get some first downs. The offense was supposed to be one of the strengths of this team. Cade Klubnik back his 4th year as a starter, one of the better wide receiver rooms in the country. But Clemson's ground game was atrocious. They have to figure out something. Their starting running back is actually a wide receiver. They need to get the play going. They need to get the passing game going to now open up the run game and vice versa. Once the run game gets going, that'll open up the play action. Their offense, though, should not struggle to move the ball versus Troy. Clemson, 92.4% chance to win. Troy, a 7.6. The Tigers, 33.5-point favorites, 51.5 over-under. Clemson, you got to give me more than 10 points here. I want 10 points your very first 2 possessions, a touchdown, a field goal. Clemson wins this game. They own this one. The offense gets back on track. Klubnik has a big day. They win 48-14. 3:30 p.m. an SEC versus SEC game. We love to see these conference games early in the season. Number 20, Ole Miss, 1-0 and 83.6% chance, visiting Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats, 1-0 with a 16.4% chance to win. The Rebels here, 10-point favorites. The over-under is 50.5. You know what happened to Ole Miss last year? They lost to Kentucky. They got beat up at the line of scrimmage, something that should in no way have ever happened. But Mark Stoops, Kentucky, they always play Ole Miss very closely, but that's what Kentucky does. Very close first halves, but they don't have the depth usually to compete third, fourth quarter. They definitely did versus the Rebels last year, but Lane Kiffin, he has not forgotten that. He is out for revenge this game. One of the best offensive minds in all of college football right now. Austin Simmons showed what the hype for him was about last week. He was slinging it up and down the field. Ole Miss, 63 points, giving up 7. They threw for 400. They ran for 295. That's what Ole Miss does, though. Their defense, top 10 last season. As long as they're top 20 this year, they have another chance to compete in the SEC. Kentucky, 24 points a game, giving up 16. They always have a good run game. They always play defense, but their offense usually looks like it's from 1980. I have Ole Miss getting some revenge here. They win this one, 33-17. And then another FCS game at 3:30 p.m. 1-0 Eastern Tennessee here, visiting number 22, the Tennessee Volunteers, 1-0. They lost Nico, and if you watch the Bruins game, obviously, they do not miss Nico. I didn't think Nico was good last year. He looked like crap this past week. Tennessee, 99% chance to win. Eastern Tennessee, a 1% chance. This is Josh Heupel, one of the best offensive minds currently in college football. Lost a lot of weapons from last year. They lost Squirrel White. They lost Sampson. They lost a lot of their defensive players, but they showed this past weekend when he's calling plays. Joey Aguilar, he just showed up to this team and he's slinging it down the field, scrambling for first downs. You know this team's going to score and they're going to have a good defense, very talented roster. This game's not going to be close. We don't have a spread yet because it is an FCS game, but I have it being a complete throttling. Tennessee wins this one 62-13. This next matchup is a battle for the state of Florida. How about the state of Florida? So many good football teams. 4:15 p.m., the 1-0 USF Bulls coming off of beating the living crap out of ranked Boise State, knocking them out of the top 25. They didn't have Ascengenti. They were not able to move the ball versus USF. And USF, under Alex Golish, they were running all over Boise State. They're now going to be playing the University of Florida, the Florida Gators in Gainesville. Florida coming off of beating the crap out of Long Island. That's not surprising. That was an FCS team. This is a step up in competition. There's a lot to prove here for USF. They are playing one of the big three Florida football schools. They want to cement themselves. They want to let the world know that they have arrived. They get to play Florida this season. They get to play Miami. They would love to beat Florida here and go rolling into that Miami game really hot. But Florida, they're going to have a lot to say about that. They have DJ Lagway. They shut out their last opponent. They were dominating, but it was an FCS team. This is a step up in competition. Florida has the most difficult schedule I have ever seen in my college football watching life. They cannot afford to drop this game. They have LSU coming up. They have Miami coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. This schedule is about to get very difficult. They got to get the win here. They have an 82.7% chance to win. USF, do not underestimate them. 3 stars in the state of Florida are 4 stars in any other state. They have a 17.3% chance to win. Gators 17.5-point favorites, a 56.5 over-under. USF last week running for 117, throwing for 255, scoring 34. Florida completely dominating, scoring 55-0 victory. I have Florida winning this one. I do think it's going to be close first half. The depth, physicality of Billy Napier's team, they pull away second half. They win it 35-20. 6 p.m. on ESPN+, 1-0 Cal Poly FCS on the road versus new to the top 25. Welcome back to the top 25 Utah. The Utah Utes, number 25, 1-0, coming off of a very dominating Week 1 performance versus the Bruins. They won every facet of the game, offense, defense, versus a Power 4 team, versus a Big Ten team. Kyle Whittingham, one of the longest tenured coaches, Devin Dampier. What that guy was doing, what a massive pickup through the portal, throwing the ball, running the ball. Utah's ground game. I have not seen a Utah offense like that in an extremely long time. They have a 99% chance to win this one. Cal Poly, a 1% chance. Utah last week, 43 points, giving up 10. They threw for 206. They ran for 286. Some are saying this may be the best offensive line in the entire nation. You know what Kyle Whittingham's going to do. He's going to play defense. They're going to be extremely physical. They're going to beat the crap out of people at the line of scrimmage. He wants to play trench warfare, physical football. He's going to dominate the big, powerful teams, even though he doesn't recruit on their level because they're disciplined and he plays and coaches to his player skill talents. Give me Utah. They cruise here. They win this one easily, 50-10. And if I was the Big 12, I would put Utah on notice. Everyone needs to be looking out for this team. Circle them on your schedule. They are the real deal. ESPN Plus, 7 p.m., 0-1 Bethune-Cookman. They're not playing good football, but this team has an extremely good band. They'll be on the road here versus number 5, the Miami Hurricanes, coming out of out-physicaling, beating the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The runner-up to the national championship last season, the number 6 team in the country, they beat them. Is Miami back? That's the massive question here. This is an FCS team. There's no spread right now. Miami, 99% chance to win. Bethune-Cookman, a 1% chance. Bethune-Cookman, they're going to have to come out the gate quick and fast if they want any chance to win this. Carson Beck, what he did his first game with the Miami Hurricanes in that Shannon Dawson system, props to him. He hasn't been in there very long because he didn't get to play spring football. He was injured, only started throwing a ball during the summer. He was on point. He was in league in touch with the wide receiver core, very deep running back room, great offensive line, a top 5 overall offensive line. They were able to lean on Notre Dame. The defense under Heatherman, massive steps from where this defense was last season. They were fast at the ball. They were physical. That defensive front seven, they were getting after it. This game's not going to be close, but look for Miami. Get the backups in as soon as possible. Get them some much needed reps. You're going to need that depth down the stretch. Miami wins this one 48-10. And of course, as always, we have another FCS matchup, 7 p.m., 1-0 South Carolina State versus number 10, the South Carolina Gamecocks, 1-0 coming off of a beating of Virginia Tech. Very close game. Special teams, defense made the difference. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, a Heisman hopeful at the quarterback position. South Carolina, 99% chance to win this game. They can dominate it with the run game, get the quarterback going, get that offensive line on track. SEC play is coming up very soon. It will be here before you know it, but this game's not going to be close. Out the gate, they're going to be up 1 touchdown. Gamecocks win this one 58-7. And it's 7:30 p.m. also on ESPN Plus. 1-0 Louisiana Tech. If they want any chance this game, they're going to have to turn it into a shootout and score a buttload of points. That's not likely to happen. They'll be playing the new number 3 team, LSU Tigers. 1-0 coming off of beating Clemson at the line of scrimmage at Clemson. They went on the road, beat them. Brian Kelly got his first Week 1 win as an LSU Tiger. They are 37.5-point favorites. 51.5 over under, a 97.2% chance to win this. Might as well just bump that up to 99. Louisiana Tech, a 2.8% chance. LSU, Garrett Nussmeier versus one of the best defenses in the nation versus a Allen-led defense against Dabo, against Garrett Riley. They were able to consistently push the ball down the field. He throws one of the best, one of the most beautiful deep field passes. Very talented wide receiver core. Blake Baker, what this defense did from year 1 to year 2, massive strides forward. A top 10 overall roster. They have 4- and 5-star guys at every single position. Huge gap here. They're going to beat them, but what I want to see out of LSU, get the backups in this game early. You have Florida coming up soon. You want to win that game. There's no reason to take the chance of anyone getting hurt here. Run the score up, get the backups in, get them some reps. They win this one 49-10. And why not another Big 12 versus SEC game? 7:30 p.m. ESPN2. This is an under-the-radar, really cool game. We have number 12, Arizona State, coming off of winning the Big 12 last season, making the playoffs last year. They are 1-0 undefeated. They'll be visiting 1-0 Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby's team, he's had to completely flip this roster 2 years in a row. Blake Shapen at the quarterback position, but Arizona State, Sam Levitt's back at quarterback. He's one of the best young quarterbacks in the nation. They don't have Cam Scatterbo, but Tyson's back at the wide receiver position. They didn't even have him for their playoff run last season. That's a guy who's easily going to have over 1,000 yards this year. Right now, Arizona State on the road going to an SEC school. You don't get to see these two schools play that much. You don't get to see these two conferences play that much. Arizona State on the road, 54.3% chance. The Bulldogs, a 45.7. Arizona State, 6.5-point favorites, 59 over under. Actually, a very close spread. You know that a Jeff Lebby-led team, though, they can score some points. ASU, 38 points a game, giving up 19. Mississippi State scoring 34 last week, giving up 17. Mississippi State is going to get theirs, especially in the later corners once your defense starts to let off. But I think Arizona State's going to have just enough of a lead. They maintain it. They win this on the road in the SEC. Not the best SEC team, but hey, take it for what it is. You got an SEC win. Run with that. They win this one 34-26. Now, this is what it's all about. The two best conferences in the country, the Big Ten, the SEC. We get to see them face off here, 7:30 p.m. This is the game day game. Number 15, Michigan Wolverines, 2 years removed from their national championship run, 1-0 on the road versus number 18, Oklahoma, 1-0 Brent Venables' team. This is two teams, number 15 versus number 18, Big Ten traveling to SEC. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be a fun game to watch on TV. This would be a really fun game to go to. Right now, Michigan on the road, 46.5% chance to win. The Sooners, a 53.5% chance to win. Oklahoma, 5.5-point favorites, a 46 over under. This is two defensively focused teams. Michigan last season, they beat the Buckeyes last game of the year, and the Buckeyes won the national championship. Then they turn around, they beat Alabama with all their starters sitting out. They showed what they can do. Sharon Moore, he will be coaching this game. Sharon Moore gets the most out of his players. They love playing for him. They play hard-nosed, old-school style football. What I really like is they force their opponent to play their style of football. They force the team they're playing to slow down and play with them at the line of scrimmage, which always gives you low-scoring games and extremely physical games. But Brent Venables, He loves that. He can do that. This is a team with a top 20 defense from last season. They had a god-awful offense last year, still finished with the top 20 defense. They were on the field the entire game. Their wide receiver core completely banged up. They have a healthy wide receiver room. John Mateer coming over from Washington State. Arbuckle coming with him. This is a underdog for the Heisman. Oklahoma, the second toughest schedule in the country, next to Florida. They got to win this game. If they lose this game and then go into that extremely difficult SEC schedule, it's going to be a very, very long year for Brent Venables. He has to win this one, but Michigan, they would love nothing more than to go to Oklahoma, just like they went to Ohio State last season and beat the crap out of them, beat them up at the line of scrimmage in their house. Right now, Michigan, 34 points a game, giving up 17. Oklahoma, 35, giving up 3. They're going to have a good defense. They have the better quarterback, but Bryce Underwood, last week, first start as a true freshman, threw for 250 yards. They had no quarterback last year throw for 210. He had some things to work on. He's a true freshman, shows what his ceiling could potentially be. But it's a lot to ask a true freshman week 2 to go on the road to Oklahoma and beat Oklahoma, beat John Mateer in his own house. I think it's going to be close, but I'll give me the Sooners winning this one, 27-23, but this is going to be some fun football. SEC Network, 7:45 p.m., our final game, 1-0 UL Monroe on the road versus number 21 Alabama. It sounds blasphemous to say the number 21 and Alabama in the same sentence. They're almost on the verge of dropping out of the poll. They're not going to lose this one. Right now, Bama, 96.3% chance to win. ULM, a 3.7% chance. Bama, 37.5-point favorites, 50.5 over-under. Bama, after that completely god-awful performance they put in last week versus Florida State, a team coming off of a 2-win season. Bama, they went 9-4 last year. Kalen DeBoer, he is feeling the heat right now. This is, and I'm not saying this as an insulting way, but this is the most spoiled fan base in the country the last 2 decades. They are used to winning. There's nothing wrong with that. All of us who have favorite teams, we wish that was the case for our team, but it's only been the case for one team. That's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are used to winning and curb stomping teams. He needs to get back with the program. The number 3 overall roster, according to ESPN, 4 5-star players at every single position. Ty Simpson was supposed to fit his system. Grubb's coming over as the offensive coordinator. That's Kalen DeBoer's guy, vertically pushing the ball down the field. They were physical the very first series. They were running the ball, and then after that, they got away from the running game. It was a complete joke. Line up, run it, beat this team at the line. Get back to Alabama football. Dominate the line of scrimmage. The passing game will come with it. You have Ryan Williams. You are loaded with weapons. Start with the run game. Let the run game naturally transform into that play action. That's when you hit them with the deep shots. That's when you get Michael Penix 2.0. I don't care what the stats are. Bama's going to roll here, and they have to roll. It is not optional. Bama wins 45-6. Guys, that's our breakdown, our predictions, our best bets, our picks for every single ranked top 25 matchup we have coming up for week 2 of the 2025 college football season. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, drop them below. Do you agree? Disagree? What are your thoughts on these games? What are your picks this week? Leave it in the comment section. I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out that pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.